Hello, guys. Good morning and happy blessed Thursday. It's Thursday, the 7th of May, and welcome to Storyteller's Corner. And thank you for joining me. And now we're back to our story Between Duty and Desire, a scandalous London, Kensington. Um, it's chapter 7, The Space Between a Breath. Now, you remember yesterday, Lady Caroline was summoned to the Wren household for a party, but she's being scrutinised and under observation. And also they requested Thomas, the chauffeur, who would take her there, because he's also under observation as well. So let's see what happens there, guys. Is it going to be tense, I think? So let's read on, guys. This is chapter 7, The Space Between a Breath. Wren House was built for observation. Not in the obvious sense, but there was no glaring display of wealth meant to overwhelm, no vulgar existence on grandeur. Instead, its elegance was quieter, more deliberate. Every room seemed designed to encourage intimacy while allowing scrutiny. Conversations softened here. Secrets, Caroline imagined, probably did as well. The musical had begun precisely on time. A quartet performed in the drawing room while guests arrived and arranged themselves in a cluster of polite admiration. Gentlemen discussed Parliament in tons of great seriousness and minimal sincerity. Ladies commented upon music as though they had personally invested in taste. And in the centre of it all sat Caroline Wimborne, beautifully composed, beautifully trapped. Lord Alistair Wren had positioned her with intention, not beside him. That would have been too obvious. Instead, near enough to be observed from multiple angles, visible to the room but with limited escape. He was not merely hosting, he was studying. "You are quiet tonight," murmured Lady Ashcombe from beside her. Caroline offered a faint smile. "I was under the impression one is meant to be quiet during a musical." A soft laugh. "Only externally, my dear." Caroline inclined her head, but her attention was elsewhere. It was not searching, never searching, only aware. Thomas was somewhere beyond the drawing room. She knew this, not because she had seen him, but because she had become disturbingly skilled at sensing his proximity. A dangerous talent, entirely useless, entirely impossible to unlearn. An hour had passed. Music gave way to supper. Guests gradually shifted towards the adjoining dining salon, conversation loosening with wine and familiarity. Wren approached her with effortless precision. "Lady Caroline," he said, offering his arm, "would you do me the honour?" She had no reasonable excuse to refuse, so she accepted, and allowed herself to be led. The supper room was warmer. Candles glowed low against polished silver and crystal glassware. Shadows softened, faces just enough to make everyone seem more interesting than they likely were. Caroline was seated midway down the table, Wren opposite, not beside her. Again, deliberate. He wanted to see her unobstructed. Conversation moved fluidly around her. Caroline contributed little. Not enough to appear rude, not enough to invite intimacy. A balance she had long mastered. Until, "More wine, my lady?" The voice came from just behind her. Too familiar, too close. Caroline's breath caught so faintly it was nearly imperceptible. Nearly. Thomas, of course, someone summoned into the room exactly as planned. He poured with flawless precision. No hesitation, no acknowledgement beyond what duty required. Yet his nearness felt suddenly intolerable as its awareness. Caroline kept her gaze fixed ahead, on Wren, who was watching everything. And then it happened. Not something dramatic, not a touch, not a confession, Something far smaller, far worse. As Thomas withdrew, Caroline shifted slightly in her chair. At the same moment, the edge of her glove caught on a tiny splinter of carved wood beneath the table. A barely audible snag. Her hand jolted. The wine glass tilted. A dark splash threatened across the white linen, and before anyone else could react, Thomas moved fast, too fast. One hand steadied the glass, the other briefly caught her wrist. Silence, not throughout the room, only inside Caroline. A single point of stillness in which everything narrowed to contact. His hand around her waist, warm through silk, firm, instinctive, improper, gone almost immediately, but not before it had existed. My apologies, my lady, Thomas said evenly, stepping back at once. Perfectly controlled. Too controlled. Caroline lowered her gaze. It was my fault, she says. Her voice sounded normal, miraculously. But not everyone had missed it. At the far end of the table, Lady Ashcombe blinked, not because she had seen enough to understand, but enough to notice a reaction too quick, a movement too natural. Not servant to mistress, but not entirely. Something else, something with familiarity. Her brows lifted slightly, tiny but real, and beside her another guest followed her line of sight, noticing, which in society was often more dangerous than the thing itself. Wren, of course, had seen all of it. He did not smile. That would have ruined the moment. Instead, he lifted his glass with composed elegance and resumed conversation as though nothing had occurred, which was infinitely more chilling, because it meant he was storing it, cataloguing it, adding it to his internal ledger of suspicion. Thomas stepped away, position restored, distance reassembled, but the room had changed. Not outwardly, only in tension. Caroline could feel it like static beneath her skin. Lady Ashcombe leaned slightly closer. How fortunate, she murmured. Caroline turned her head. In what regard? That your driver is so attentive. The words were light, but the tone was not. Caroline's pulse sharpened. He is well trained, she replied. Lady Ashcombe smiled faintly. Yes, she said, that was rather my observation. The rest of supper passed in a blur of controlled responses and carefully regulated breathing. Caroline did not look towards Thomas again, not once, which unfortunately had become its own form of evidence. When at last she rose to leave, Wren escorted her towards the front hall. His manner remained impeccable, untroubled, almost warm, which Caroline trusted even less than hostility. You handled the evening admirably. You handled the evening admirably, he says. Did I require handling? Everyone does eventually. A pause, then softly, you must forgive my guests, they are terribly observant. Caroline met his gaze. And what was there to observe? Wren adjusted his cuff. Oh, he said mildly, nothing one could yet be called meaningful. Yet? The word was placed with surgical care. Outside, the night air struck cold. Thomas opened the carriage door. Caroline entered without a word. He closed it, took his place, and as the carriage pulled away from Wren House, neither of them spoke, because there was nothing left to misunderstand. Tonight had not been an accident, it had been an experiment, and they had nearly failed it. Behind them at the upper window of Wren House, Lord Alistair Wren stood with one hand rested lightly against the curtain, watching the carriage disappear, thinking, calculating, and now finally certain of one thing. There was something there, not proven yet, but alive, and he had no intention of letting it remain hidden for long. There we go, guys. The tension's unbearable now. Lady Caroline is trying to hide her feelings for the chauffeur, Thomas, But one small incident, or it nearly will come on unravelled, guys. So join me Friday, guys. Join me Friday for Chapter 8, The Distance Imposed. I think Thomas is being removed to another assignment. I don't know who's done that, but we'll find out shortly. So, but don't worry, guys, we're off to Topsy Tickletown tonight for chapter 113. The David Giggle Sparks chose favoritism in Topsy Tickletown. So join me for that tonight, guys. Topsy Tickletown's that way, by the way. So join me that this evening. And in the meantime, hope you're enjoying the story between Duty and Desire, Scandalous London, Kensington. So there we go, guys. It's getting the tension is rising slowly. It's getting unbearable now. So I hope you enjoyed that. Take care, guys. Have a lovely day. I'm recording this the night before. I'm going to post it in the morning so you guys can listen to it, because I'm off out tomorrow, so I ain't got time to sit there and talk. So there we go, guys. Thank you, guys, for joining me in Storyteller's Corner for Thursday, the 7th of May. Until then, guys, take care, have a lovely day, and God bless us all. Bye-bye now.